Welcome back, everybody, to Path of Awakening, the show where we explore hidden truths, spiritual awakening, and the deeper meaning behind our existence. I'm Heather Ashley, and today we are diving into a topic that many of us experience without even realizing it. What is that? It's ancestral trauma, soul contracts, and karmic debt. Are we carrying burdens from our ancestors? Are we trapped in cycles we don't even remember agreeing to? And more importantly, how do we break free from these and as well as, heal from them? So stick with me because this episode is all about reclaiming your soul's power. So let's get right into it. So I thought that today's episode, it would be the best to start off with explaining what ancestral wounds are and how they affect our current lives. And understanding ancestral trauma, um, it's a little hard to understand at first, but then once once you're able to understand it, then it's very easily to deal with. So what is ancestral trauma? Well, trauma isn't just something we experience in our current lifetime. It can be inherited actually from our ancestors through DNA, cultural conditioning, and even energetic imprints. Studies in epigenetics show that trauma can alter genetic expression, meaning we may carry fears, anxieties, as well as emotional wounds, all from generations before us. And I find that very interesting, that we can. That's very interesting. This explains why some people have, intense phobias that are unexplained, um, emotional blockages, or they even have reoccurring struggles that don't stem from their personal experiences, but rather coming from a different place. Signs, here are some signs that you could possibly have ancestral trauma. So you could have reoccurring family patterns, like such as addiction, poverty, abandonment, or even abuse that repeat along across many generations of your family. Another one would be like unexplained fears or emotional wounds, feeling of like deep grief, fear, or anger without a clear personal cause, or without knowing exactly why. You could also have strong ties to cultural and historical wounds, like feeling deeply connected to a tragic historical event, like say, the crucifixion of Christ or something, or a particular ancestral lineage. So, how ancestral trauma affects the soul? So, the soul carries energetic imprints from past lives, all of your past lives, and ancestral experiences. These imprints shape our beliefs, our behaviors, and even our life purpose. So now let's kind of discuss a little bit about what our soul contracts are and exactly, and why we choose to make soul contracts in the first place. So what are soul contracts? So before we incarnate, our soul makes agreements to experience certain lessons, challenges, and relationships. Um, these contracts are designed for our soul's growth and evolution. That's the whole reason why we choose them. Soul contracts are made with our family members, lovers, friends, and even our enemies. They all play roles in our spiritual development in some way, shape, or form. So, types of soul contracts. So, first, you've got healing contracts. These are agreements that are made to help each other heal past wounds, such as like choosing parents who challenge us to break toxic cycles rather than create toxic cycles. We also have karmic contracts, which those are relationships that bring past life and ancestral lessons to be completed. An example would be like, a difficult marriage that forces us to grow. Then you also have service contracts. Service contracts are agreements that are to fulfill a mission, such as being a healer or a teacher or even an activist. No, it's not. No, no. Soul contracts can't be broken. The only way they can be, resolved is if they're completed. They cannot be broken for anything unless they can only be completed. However, we can navigate them with awareness and choose how we respond to them. But once the lesson is learned, the contract dissolves naturally. So it's nothing that you technically have to do other than just complete it by learning that lesson. Karmic debt, it balances the scales basically. So it's like, everything has to have a balance. So what is the karmic debt? So karmic debt is an energetic balance, or it's the energetic balance we carry from past actions, whether from this lifetime or from past incarnations. Unlike punishment, karma is a system of cause and effect. What we put out energetically comes back to us always. Um, so here are some signs, though, that you may have karmic debt. So repeated hardship. If you're facing the same struggles despite efforts to change them, like I'm being around a lot of negative people. Also, toxic relationships is one that's very common. Constantly attracting similar negative dynamics. Um, Feeling stuck, like a sense of being trapped in cycles that you cannot break. All of those are signs that you could have karmic debt. Um, how to clear karmic debt. So you could acknowledge the lesson, recognize the pattern, and take responsibility for your energy alone. That means setting boundaries and, releasing relationships or negative people that does not serve you. Forgiveness and healing. Forgive yourself and others to release emotional bonds, and then shift your actions. Consciously choose higher vibrational choices, such as music, or choosing love over hate, and a unity over division. Another one, so healing and navigating these energies is very much going to be very important, and it will help you. So here are some steps for ancestral steps for to healing ancestral healing, or an ancestral trauma. Rituals and energy clearing, like you could use Reiki, ancestral altars, and even cord cutting ceremonies. Um, Navigating your soul contracts and karmic debt, it's not as hard as you may think that it is. So meditation and going to your Akashic records, accessing your past lives, even through past life regressions, all will help you to understand why certain events are happening and why they happened. So you could also do ancestral offerings, which is where you honor ancestors through rituals, to release those traumas. If you know what they are, then you can do an ancestral altar. Another one is mindful living. Making conscious choices that align with higher wisdom, um, will very much help you in this. And then, so to sum up everything that we've talked about today, unresolved emotions and energy, that causes trauma, and fears from our past lives, and it can create, emotional imprints or energetic residues that carry over into our current incarnation. These unresolved emotions, they don't simply disappear. They remain within our energy field, manifesting in ways, that affect our mental, emotional, and physical well-being. For example, if you were a victim of betrayal in your past life, that emotion could translate into feelings of mistrust in your current relationships, even if there's no logical reason for it. Then you could also have subconscious blocks. That often we may not be consciously aware of these past life memories, but they can still influence us very much. Like certain phobias, fears, or even patterns of behavior might have no clear origin in this life as to where they came from, but they are deeply rooted in your past life experiences. For example, and for example, if you had a past life experience of being persecuted for your spiritual beliefs, like I did, you may carry a subconscious fear of standing out or speaking your truth, which can limit personal growth and expression, or expression in this lifetime. But also, you know, um, then there's also karmic cycles. The concept, of karma suggests, the concept of karma suggests that certain unresolved issues or deeds from our past lives may come back into this lifetime as a karmic debt. These are unfinished lessons or actions, that need to be balanced. Karmic cycles are often linked to repetitive patterns we experience, like in our relationships or careers, health, or even other areas of our life. For instance, you may find yourself continually drawn to toxic relationships as they could be tied to unfinished karma from a past life, such as a pattern of abandonment or betrayal. And then this one is actually one of my favorites because I do know this one to be true because I have the same thing. So phobias and fears such as thalassophobia, which I have, is a fear of deep water. I can't even look at pictures of deep, dark bodies of water or anything like that without going into like a major panic attack. This is due to me having thalassophobia, all stemming from one of my fourth past life, and where I drowned in that past life. You could also have a fear of heights that can be traced back to the traumatic experiences in previous lifetimes. For example, like if someone drowned, in a past life, which I did, they might experience this intense fear of water in this lifetime, which I do. I know that this one's got to be true, even though there's no logical or physical cause for the fear. This type of fear can paralyze someone and even prevent them from fully living the present moment. Because because I have, that fear of water, like I said, I can't even look at pictures of dark bodies of water. I'm scared to go into the water. I don't go swimming or anything like that. So therefore I'm missing out on those, being able to go to the ocean or swim or, anything like that. And many other things that are tied to that. So that's very much true. So now let's talk a little bit about what inherited ancestral trauma is. So that's, in addition to your direct past life experiences, trauma can also be inherited through ancestral lines. This is often called ancestral or generational trauma. And that's where, where unresolved issues from previous generations can affect the current generation. For example, if your ancestors experienced war or loss, even poverty, for example, the emotional and psychological scars that may have been passed down to future generations, influencing your current lives, fears and insecurities and struggles as well. Like, you could be struggling with money in this one. So why is it important to heal and break these cycles? Well, that seems pretty simple, doesn't it? Breaking free from repetition without, that's doing that without conscious healing. These unresolved past life issues can create a cycle of repetition. We might find ourselves repeatedly making the same mistakes over and over and over, attracting the same negative circumstances when we don't have to. Healing from them helps us to break these cycles, allowing us to transcend old patterns and then consciously choose new, healthier patterns. It's all about, learning the lesson that was left unfinished in previous lives and then, healing from that. Another reason it would be emotional freedom and liberation. When we heal these past life traumas, we release the emotional energy that's trapped within us. This will allow us to be able to experience emotional freedom and peace, plus also it will give us the clarity in the present moment. You stop living with the weight of old fears or unresolved emotions that no longer, serve you. It can be very incredibly liberating to let go of those burdens, especially when we are, unaware of how they affect us in the first place, Spiritual growth and evolution is also a big reason why you want to heal from these past traumas. Healing past life traumas and breaking karmic cycles is very vital to your role in your spiritual journey. It allows us to move forward on the path of self discovery and awakening. Each healing step brings us closer to our higher self, and supports our soul's evolution. It helps us to align with our true purpose and destiny, enabling us to live a life that is more fulfilling and authentic. And then in closing, so at the end of the day, we are not victims of our past, nor are we bound by the mistakes of our ancestors. We are here to heal, to grow and to evolve. So, and that's about, and the only way you can do that, is through these healings. So if you feel stuck, uh, if you feel stuck in these cycles, or in cycles of trauma, karmic debt, or even painful relationships, remember, awareness is the first step. Once you see see the patterns, you have the power to shift them. So what will you do with this knowledge? I mean, how will you break free, and how will you step into your soul's true power? I know that past life regression is a great way, and I've gotten two of my most vivid, and it's almost as if it's like a memory, which I mean, I guess it is technically a memory, but it was like a movie playing in my head, and I can tell you every single detail of those two past lives. Those were done through past life regression. And it's a very great way to learn more about your past lives. But I feel like the Akashic records, that's another way you can go to your Akashic records through astral projection, and you can also get your past life, get your past lives. It will give you a full the full past lives. So I feel like that, that's the first step, is figuring out what your past lives are. You could also do past life readings as well. I do them on TikTok all the time. So, feel free to look me up on TikTok. My name on TikTok is Heather Ashley, and it's got the blue tiger's eye at each end. But definitely, do your research. Also, you can also look back into your ancestry, go do your ancestry and things like that. That will also help you. So I hope that this episode resonated with some of you guys, or all of you guys. And if it did resonate with you, please share it with someone that you might, who you think may need to hear it. And if you're on this journey and you want more guidance, follow Path of Awakening on YouTube and TikTok, and let's keep awakening together. Remember to stay dreaming, stay healing, and always, stay awake. Until next time, love and light to everybody. Bye.